Hello everyone, it's 360 Cubed. Today I'm going to be doing 5 FTO example solves. I am for color neutral, so I can solve on white, red, orange, or gray on the Landland color scheme. If you want some white only example solves in the future, please let me know. Scrambles will be in the description. All right, cool. So let's see this scramble. Probably gonna do orange, but I'm just gonna double check, make sure there's not anything else. Yeah, definitely orange is looking good. We just have to figure out a way to make this. Okay, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, let me just make sure. All right, cool. So, with orange, we have this large trap as incorrect color scheme with this triangle over here. We also have half of a triple connected to yellow here. So we're gonna wanna make an arrow block here. Now, normally how I would solve the large trap for orange is I would do a U wide R, right, to make this. But we would need a blue triangle here to make this arrow block. So with the first move U, it's going to move this triangle over here into this spot, which is the spot where we're going to need a blue triangle. So we need to move a blue triangle here. And I don't see any blue triangles in this layer, but I do see a blue triangle here, and there's a nice way we can put this blue triangle here so that when we do the U move, it'll come over. So the way I'd solve this is I would do kind of like almost kind of like a B flick here. So I guess like a B prime and then R prime like this to move the triangle here. And then we can do our U like before to move this pair over here. And then we have this so we can do wide R to finish up this arrow block. Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with what an arrow block is, it's just basically when you make the first large trap, you build the triple along with it, kind of like that, in a block building sense. So yeah, then I rotate over here and I see this pair and this triangle. So we have to be careful not to mess this up. So this layer is not free to turn right now. So I'll do a BL first, and then I can do just a standard F move, connect this triangle to make the large trap, then just insert with BL and then L prime like that. Right, and the first thing I see is this triple, which already has a pair. There's also a triple here, but I wouldn't go for that. It's the first thing I see. And I also see this yellow triangle. Apologize for the bad sticker quality, by the way. So what we're going to do to solve this is we're just going to hide this this one pair here with an R prime. Then we're going to do a U prime to bring this triangle over, and then bring the corner back with an R. And that's going to make our pair. And I see this is yellow, and we already inserted one of the yellow ones, so I know immediately I can just go right into BL prime to insert it into its slot, and then F prime like that. So that's going to be our block on orange. Now we're going to go into centers, and the first thing I see for centers is white, actually. It might be better to go for gray, but the first thing I see is white, so we're going to go for white here. So I want to make a large trap with this pair and this edge to make it right color scheme, because I know that if blue's here, then green needs to go next to it over here. So what we can do is we can orient this to put this blue in the back. It's also going to preserve this pair, which is kind of nice. And then we can do a wide R, U, and then a wide R, R prime like this to make this large trap with blue and green. Then I'm going to orient to the left so that we can do R moves without disrupting it. Then I'm going to do, I've seen what's here, and I know there's not any white pieces, so I want to do a wide R prime to see what the case is up here. So yeah, this is a pretty, it's a pretty nice case. I'd probably just solve it 2gen while I'm right here. So how I'd solve this is you want to put this corner on your unsolved center by doing R U prime R prime instead of doing R prime U R, because then it would be oriented incorrectly and we wouldn't be able to pair it up. So and from here we want to do R prime U prime R, and then just do a U to make this pair here. Then we can just insert it with a U prime R. Now I know green goes opposite from orange, so we have to orient the center. So you can just orient the center with a wide R U, like that. And yeah, I know from color scheme that red goes here. It's kind of unfortunate because this is a incorrect large trap. So I'm going to do a wide R to move the center to the back because we already solved it. Don't really need to look at it anymore. And also so I can see the front. So yeah, here we have a large trap in red, but it's incorrect color scheme. But on gray, however, we have a large trap that is correct color scheme. So what we can do is we can just orient this large trap, and then we just have this small trap case for gray. So the way you can solve this, it's not the most efficient, but it's kind of ergonomic. If it's oriented like this, you can just do, because I'm sure you guys know from experience or watching men's videos, you can't insert this because it breaks it up. We're just going to do R, U, R prime. And that's going to give us this case where you have these two opposite pieces in this corner down here. Then we're going to do, and like usually with other events, you'd want to make a pair like this, but we just got back from that, so we're not going to do that this time. We're going to do a U prime, and then we're going to solve this case by doing another RUR prime. And that's going to make a pair back here, and it's also going to insert this corner on the bottom, so we can just do one more U prime, and then we just have a standard 3-move insert. And right now, before I insert this, I see this as green, so I won't have to orient red, and also I see greens here for gray that's going to get inserted, so I know I won't have to do any orienting. So RU prime, R prime, and our triple ended up down here, but there's one pair made, so this isn't going to be too bad. Now, the way you can solve this case nicely is what you're going to want to do is know that if you do the standard insert, like from here, what it does to the back triple, like if you do the F prime, U prime, F, U insert, it's going to move this back triangle to the bottom, and it's also going to take this one out where this sticker on this side is going to be on bottom. So that's exactly what we want here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the standard, like pretending to insert this one, I guess, to move this triangle to the bottom and also move this to the bottom, so it'll be really easy to pair. So we'll just do our standard F prime, U prime, F, U insert. And then now you can see this is flipped to the bottom and this is here. So we can just do a U to pair it up. And now we have our last orange triple. So now we can just insert this just like with the normal alg. So F prime, U prime, F, U, inserts it here, and then we can just do BL to orient that. So now last 2 triples. This is kind of an unfortunate case, but it's not too bad. So here I'm going to do OPF. So we have this pair already for OPF, and we have this pair. You can tell that these two are good pairs because there's 3 different colors in them. Like if this was purple instead of yellow, then we'd have 2 mismatched pairs, which is not what we want. But anyways, over here we actually have 1 flip. So this is just OPF 1 flip, so we can just go straight into that. So how you can solve this is move the solved pair over the triangle and the flip pair while ignoring the pair on the bottom. And then we can do a hedge here to make this pair. So now we got this pair and this pair. So now we want to make our last pair here. So here, a nice way to do this without rotating is just doing a lefty sledge, which is going to flip these 2 and preserve this one. So it's going to, I like to finger trick it like this, where you go L, R prime, L prime, R, like that. And then just a U prime to make the pair in the back here. And now we just have TCP. Most of the time you'll just do this in 2 steps, where here you do like a lefty sledge and then do CP kind of like that. But here there's actually no alg for this case, so I can see that if I did a lefty sledge, I was going to get CP, and also these corners aren't twisted in place, so I know it's the bad TCP. And the alg for this, for the lefty sledge version, goes like this, so I'd rotate like this. It goes U, BR, R prime, L, R, BR prime, R prime, L, L prime, R, oh no, U prime R. Yeah, kind of hard to do it slow, but yeah. First solve, pretty decent, pretty standard, not too much fancy stuff. So let's get into the next one. Also did want to mention, if you want the TCP algs that I'm using, Aiden Bryant, or Tipster Trickster on YouTube, made a YouTube video on them and has all the algs. So let's look at this next scramble here. So here we have a couple of options. Orange looks pretty good. Let's see, how is this looking? Yeah, I might go for orange again. Orange, we have this pair here with this attached to the small trap, but I'm not really seeing a nice way to pair this up, and there's a really efficient way to just make the center. So instead here, I'm just gonna try and preserve this one pair here, and then we can solve that later as one of our triples. So what we can do here, I know from color scheme, we're gonna do orange again for sure, that yellow goes here, the yellow edge goes here in relation to purple. So I'm just gonna solve the large trap while preserving this over here, and the way you can do that in 3 moves, it's really nice. You can just do an F here to orient this, and then do a U to put this edge into place, and then just do an R. And then we have the large trap here, and then we can just insert this right away with the U move. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do this in a solve. I'd probably just move on to a triple kind of like this one, but I just want to show this trick because it's kind of cool. So what we can actually do in this case to finish this triple inside of its slot is we could use this triangle. We could do move it out of the way with an R prime, and this triangle's here, so we could do a U and then an R like that. So that's kind of a cool trick. Like when it's here, it's not as obvious. I would usually, if the triangle is up here, it's a lot easier to recognize because then you could just do like R prime and then U prime to do that. But here, I would probably just see this, go into this, and then worry about this guy later. So I see this pair on this triple with this pair on bottom. So to make the other pair, I'm going to use this triangle because it's the first one I see, and I'm going to make sure this stays preserved in the slot. So I'll do a BL and then an F move like this, and I know the triangle's in the back, so I can do an R prime to make the pair, and it's already ready to insert into its slot right away with an F prime like this. All right, so now I have to solve this pair. I'm not seeing any purple triangles here, so I'm going to look down and I see there's one right there. So I can pair this up with a U prime and then R prime. So now the pair is down here, and I can see that we want to put it in this slot because there's purple here. So I'll do a BL prime and then an F like this to finish making up our first block. All right. Yeah, the first thing I see, we have this large trap on gray, and it's oriented correctly, so I won't have to orient the center, which is super nice. Yeah, so for this case, you may be tempted to misorient this edge and then solve this, but that's going to give us kind of an annoying case. What we can do instead, because if we were to do this, then we'd end up with this, where we have to misorient this corner. What we can do instead of that is at the start, we can actually misorient this corner and pair this corner up first. So I'd rotate up here, then I'd do a BL, and then I can do a U prime, R, because I know this edge is down here, so this pair is going to get made. Then I can do a wide R prime to get this pair up here so I can orient it. Then from here, it's just nice 2-gen, and the center is already going to be in the back, which is super nice. So we can do U prime, and then I can see this is green, so I don't have to worry about looking at the center and orienting it afterwards. It's just going to be finished. So then I can do R prime, U prime, R, and that gray center, it's in the back, it's oriented, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Cool. So from here, I know white goes on top, and then red's going to go here. So the first thing that I see that I probably solve, I'm trying to think of a better way, because I know if I solve this large trap on red, I'm going to get a bad case for the last 2 centers. Normally, I'd want to solve it with like an R prime U R. That's going to give me this case, and I don't want that. So instead, what we can do is we can actually make a large trap on white, and that's going to give us a slightly better case. So I see this green edge here with this pair, so I want to put the purple edge next to it to make it a correct color scheme large trap. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a wide R, U, and that's going to get this edge ready to insert. So now I can do a left slice move like this to bring the slot down, then a U, Then I can slice back up to make this large trap. Then I can do a BL prime U to orient. Now this last small trap case may look actually worse than the other one, but it's actually 3 moves shorter, which is nice. So in this case, all we have to do to solve this, in this case, you can actually do something kind of fancy. You can do a left slice prime like this, so we don't have to rotate down first and then do an R prime. Well, in essence, like doing that is basically doing a left slice move. So yeah, and then now we can just insert this triangle right away in the right orientation like this. So now we just get a 3 move insert, and we don't have to do that twice like in the method where we have the solve bar. So it's nice because it saves a few moves. Now here, we're not going to get as lucky with center orientation. We're going to have to do some orienting. So I can see this green coming down. So I know immediately we have to do a U, then I do a R wide prime, and then a U prime to orient white. Now here, this isn't the best last or triple case with orange, but what I am going to do is I am going to try and preserve this pair. So the first thing, I don't want to pair up the yellow first because I either have to break up this pair or do something strange with this. So I'm going to pair up blue first. The way we can pair up blue while preserving this pair is move this pair on top of blue, and then preserve this pair and blue, and then flip this over with a hedge. Like that. And then we can pair up blue with a U prime. And now here you may be thinking, oh, well, how do we preserve this pair? There's no way to do it without doing something fancy. And you do have to do something a little bit extra, but I don't think it's that bad. So now in this case, what we can do is notice that if we insert this pair into the bottom, it's actually going to get preserved. And remember the concept that I told you before about this back triple getting flipped over if we like inserted this with the normal F, F U prime F whatever insert, the U F prime U prime F insert. This is going to get flipped over, but also this is going to get preserved. So what's going to happen if we do this insert is that this is going to get inserted down here, so it'll be preserved. Also, this is going to get flipped over, so it'll be really easy to make. So we just do it like this, do our inserting this one. You'll see this gets flipped and this gets preserved. So we can just pair this up with an R prime, and it's the same number of moves as before, except we just have this pair preserved. So it's super nice. So now we can just do the standard insert here like this. And that makes that. So then I'm just going to orient the bottom because we don't have to worry about it anymore, like this. And now we have last 2 triples with an already preserved pair. This isn't the greatest case, but we can work with it. So here I would just do standard pair formation, where first I'm going to make the purple pair by moving the yellow on top of it. And here I can just do a sledge. No, not a sledge, a hedge. It doesn't really matter, you could do either. And then here I'm going to do a U prime to make this purple pair, and also to prepare for the blue pair. So this blue pair here, this is a very nice example for avoiding 2 flip. We have this here, we have this here. Most people, they're just used to doing not sledges, hedges. So we're just doing a hedge here. And it's actually not good to do a hedge here because you would end up with 2 flip. And you know that because this triangle is going to end up over here with hedge. I can show you right here like this. It takes a while to recognize. We can see this triangle's here, so we're going to get 2 flip, and we don't want that. So instead, we can do a sledge to make this triangle go over back here. We do a sledge like this. This triangle's back over here, so we can do a U, and now we don't have 2 flip, which is nice. But we do again have the bad, I'm pretty sure, yeah, we do have the bad TCP. And I can tell that because this yellow goes here, and if we were to sledge, this is gray and it's not going to match with the white. So this is the righty sledge version of the alg. So it goes rotating over like this. It's just the inverse of the previous one. BR prime, R prime U, L, R, BR, R prime, L prime, R, BR prime, and U prime, and here we don't have to AUF, so that's kind of nice. All right, let's get into the third scramble. All right. So looking at this first scramble, the first thing that really jumps out at me is I see this pair on red with this almost completed arrow block. So I'm probably going to go for an arrow block on red, but also there's almost a completed arrow block on orange again. So we could also go for orange. Let's see here. All right. This is interesting. You usually don't get this lucky on a scramble. So yeah, here I think it's either way. Yeah, I think orange might even be slightly better, but I think I'm going to go for red here because red is going to give a very nice setup to the small trap. So here, you can see that from this corner or just from color scheme, the green edge needs to go here, and we already have a triangle, and this green edge is right here. So we could just do this with wide R, U, wide R prime. And what that's going to do essentially on top is just going to move this triangle over, and that's super nice because we'd want to do that anyways to make the small trap. So that's going to set up really nicely into our small trap solution. So here to make this arrow block and to finish up the large trap here like this, we can do wide R, U, wide R prime like that. So that's our arrow block, and then we can just rotate over and solve this large trap here with an R, and then just do BR and then a U to insert. Yeah, so the first pair that I'm seeing is this guy right here, and it's kind of annoying because it's flipped. But the way we can solve this pretty nicely is we can first pair this purple up with this guy. By here, it's kind of a good case to know how to recognize. So if this is on top and this is on the bottom on the other side of it, we can do a U prime, and that's going to bring this up to the top, and it's also going to flip this over. So I'm going to just do an R prime to pair it up. Now the only other yellow triangle I'm seeing to pair this up with is this guy right here. So the way we can pair that up is we can do a BLF, and now I know this triangle is back here, so I can just do an R prime, and then the slot's back over here, so I can do a BL prime F to make our block on red. All right, so the first thing that's standing out to me is this orange pair, but not really seeing too much good on that. So, yeah, I look up here and I see this pair on gray and this pair, so, yeah, well, that's not too great either. Yeah, I'd probably just end up going for orange here. Orange really isn't like orange. It isn't great, but it's not bad either. We have a one move large trap, which is nice. We can just do an R to make this large trap here. So we can do BL prime and then a U, and then here it's not really that huge of a deal. You could just make this pair right now with an R and then misorient and then just redo this corner, but it's kind of ergonomic to do this instead. So what we can do is we can prepare for this. So we know that if we do an R, it's going to make a pair in the top, right? Well, we're going to misorient this trap down here, so this slot will be empty. So we can prepare for that by doing a wide R and then U prime to put this triangle here. So that when we do the R to make this pair, and we can do a wide R here, so the pair's on left. Now this triangle is already ready for a 3-move insert where we can just do a U prime, R, U prime, R prime. I find that solution to be really fluid. I don't know if it's the most efficient in the world, or it might just be equally efficient as other solutions, but I think it's pretty fluid and ergonomic. So yeah, we'll do that. I know that blue is opposite from red, so we'll orient this orange center with a wide R U prime. Now you might think, oh, we want to do a wide R prime to get back to gray here, but in this case, we're actually going to want to do another wide R to put this in the back so we can see both centers at the same time. This is actually a nice case. The first thing I see is this solve large trap on white, and white does go here, so that's good. And we have this edge here, so this is just a very standard case. It's actually a really good case. So I do a U here. And now we can just solve this really nice. So how we can do this is we can do a left slice and then U prime, R prime. And what that's going to do is it's going to make this pair, and it's going to put this triangle up here in such a way that it gives us a 3-mover. So looking at that again. So we have this one edge here and these two here. You can do this case from this angle or this angle, but you just can't do it from this angle or else you're going to get a worse case. So you want to hold it like this, And then if the triangles are like this, you want to do r prime u prime r. And if the triangles are like this, you want to do r prime u r to make the pair. So in this case, I had this, so no point in doing an extra move to AUF, so I'll just do it from here, r prime u prime r, and then I'll just do a u prime, and then just 3-move insert to finish off the center, so r prime u prime r. Then from here, I'm going to orient this gray center, because I know blue is opposite from red, so we'll do a U to orient blue, and then white R, and then U prime to orient. So I would do U prime, but I see this this corner piece here, and I want to keep this in the top layer so I can make pairs. So I'm going to move it out of the way first, and then I'm going to do my R prime to orient, then I'm going to put this back up. So now this is not the most ideal case in the world. What we can do actually, that's kind of interesting, is we can, instead of just going right into making this pair, we can do a U prime to make this pair. And now we can do our hedge to make this pair. And now this pair is in the top, so it should be easy to preserve, and it will be, because now we make this green pair, and now we're just gonna make this purple pair. So now I can just do a standard hedge, and this is going to get preserved, so that'll be nice. Then we can make this pair. Then from here, to insert this back here, we'll just do a D move, move the slot over, and then we'll just do our standard insert like this. And that's going to insert our last bottom triple. So then we can move this over to orient the bottom, because we're finished with that. And yeah, this is kind of an unfortunate last 3 triples, even though we preserved this pair. We have this pair, and then if we do a U prime, we have this other mismatch pair. So here I would actually do something interesting. I know Aiden's working on algs for these cases, but instead of doing standard pair formation, also I know you can do like a Niklas column from here. What I find to be the most simple and decently efficient solution is here, you just want to pretend that we have solved solve pair formation for a second. And now we're going to want to just make sure we solve corners. So we see that this is white and gray, and these 2 slots are white and gray. So we just want to solve this corner here. And the reason this works is because in this case, because of the location of these triangles, one of them is definitely going to get solved. And this means that we can just solve the other 2 with a quick commutator. So we can just solve this with a lefty hedge like that. And then do a U prime. And you'll see everything is solved except for these last 2 triangles right here. And the way we can solve these last 2 triangles is with a quick commutator, which goes E, R, U, R prime, E prime, R, U prime, R prime. And that's solved. So yeah, it's kind of a cool trick for that last 3 triples case. I definitely think that learning like Aiden's algs once he eventually gets to them is probably going to be a better option, but I think that's a pretty consistent way to solve that case. So yeah, let's get into the next scramble. All right. Looking at this scramble, I see a trap on white, but it's incorrect color scheme. So I might go for that, I might not. It's kind of a difficult case. Ooh, I see something better on orange. I keep solving on orange today, I don't know why. Yeah, orange is super interesting. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do orange here. So orange, I see this and this pair, which can be made into a large trap in 1 move, but we have this triple here. So to preserve this triple, we can move it out of the way with an F here. And we know that it's out of the way because it's out of the layer that this is turning. If we did, for example, an F prime here, it's actually going to get broken here. You see this is here and it's going to get broken. So we want to move it back here where it's going to be safe. So then we can make the pair here, and this is actually the same colors as this. So instead of trying to preserve it while doing our small trap, what I usually like to do is just insert it right now next to the large trap, so it'll be preserved easier. So right now we can just insert it with a BL prime F prime like this, so that makes our block. And now we can just do the small trap without worrying about this anymore. So I'll just do this. This is a pretty standard solution. So just do U prime to move this pair out of the way, do a left slice, reorient this corner with a U, and then bring it back up, bring it back down like this. And then we can just do a BL prime, and then kind of a D move to finish off our first center plus triple. Now the first thing that I see is this triple and this triangle, which can be paired up in one move like this. And I also saw this blue triangle, and this slot's actually free, so we can just flip this over using this slot like this. And now it's just one more move to pair this up like that with R prime. So now we can insert it back here with a BL U. And that's going to be our first center plus first two triples. And now we're going to move into equatorial centers. So now this is probably not the most efficient thing to do, but the first center that I see is this gray one. So I'd probably just do, this blue edge goes here, so I'll probably just do a left slice U and then an R to make this, which probably is not the best thing to do because then we get kind of a bad small trap case, but we can work with it. So here we'll do a U prime, and then we're going to make a pair with this triangle first with a left slice U prime R. And now we're going to orient this trap like this. Now we just have to orient this corner, and then we have a nice three move insert. So we can just do a BL, orient this corner, and then do like an R, but then we're going to do an R wide prime, so kind of like a left slice. And then U prime, and then again, notice that this is green, so we don't have to orient this gray center in the back, so we don't have to worry about it. So we can just do an R, and then that gray center is going to be completed. All right, so now we have, let's see, we have an incorrect color scheme on white and also on red. Both these large traps are. So easy way to solve this is just make a large trap with this edge in this pair by doing R, U, R prime. And then here we get a pretty decent last case here where it's just two triggers to finish it off. So we do U prime, and now this triangle is in the right orientation to solve it next to this pair. So we can fix that by doing a left R wide R prime, and then U prime orients this, do an R prime, and then I already know it's back here, so I can just insert this with U prime, R prime, U, R. Then I can orient this center with a U, and I'll do a wide R and orient the center with another U. Yeah. All right, so now I immediately just see this pair, and it's really nice so I don't have to rotate, so I can just go right into a lefty sledge here, not really seeing any pairs to preserve, so just do a standard lefty hedge, then a U to make the pair, and now I can do a D move like this to move the slot over, and then I can just do the standard insert like I said before, like that, and then one more D move to orient the bottom. All right, now we have last three triples. This is a super nice case where you have this pair already, and this is just a U move away. And now we just have this pair left. And yeah, in this case, it doesn't matter if you do a hedge or a sledge, you're not gonna get two flip, which is nice. So I'll just do a hedge here. And the reason I know that is because this triangle is above its slot. So if you do a hedge, this triangle is going back here, which is not going to give you two flip. And if you do a sledge, it's going over here, which means you're not getting two flip either. So that's nice. All right, then we'll do a U, orient this, and we get the same TCP again. Geez, where we're just, where this is, again, the righty sledge version. I already showed this. So execute quickly, it's going to look like this. Like that, and again, no UF. All right, let's get into the last solve. All right. So the first thing I see is this. I don't know why all these scrambles have been amazing on orange. I see this there's a correct color scheme large trap on orange, and small trap, it's pretty good. but I'm gonna see if I can do a different. I think it's actually orange is probably gonna be the best color again. That is so funny. Yeah, red's decent, but I definitely think I'd go for orange here. So yeah, sorry for all the orange solves. I'll have to do more example solves later, maybe some white only or something different like that. But yeah, not really seeing too much first triple action or anything that we can preserve too easily. I mean, we could make this triple and insert next to this one incorrectly, but yeah, I think with a small trap set up this nicely, we should just do the small trap and then deal with whatever case we get next for first two triples. But yeah, I will be keeping an eye on this one while I'm doing the small trap solution. So here it's super nice. This is really set up really nicely. So I know here that I can just do an R to move this triangle up, which is gonna move this triangle here. So I can just do a U prime, and then it's just one more move to finish it off. I'm gonna do an R prime, U prime, and I see this pair's here. And then R prime, and I see this pair is gonna get preserved, so that's kind of nice. So then we'll do BL and then U prime to insert this large trap here. And now I see this pair here, so I'm just gonna make this triple first and do this one next right here. So the first purple triangle that I see is right here, so I can just do a U prime R to pair this up. And now it's already ready to insert with a U. And from here I can do a BL to get this triple here. And this is kind of bad. I should have looked first. So I'm actually going to do, now I can do a wide R to get this here and do this here. Essentially I've done an L2, which is not what you want to do, but yeah, that's probably what I would do in a solve. So now I can pair this, this corner sticker up with this triangle with just two moves by doing a U prime to move this up to the bottom, and then also moving this to the bottom over here. And I can do an R to pair it up, and then it's just going to be a BL U prime to insert like this. So that gives us our block here on orange. So now I'm not really seeing too much here on these faces. So I probably rotate down, and I see this these two pairs on white. Like up here, I could have made a gray small trap, but it's not really the nicest thing. And here, if we rotate down, we'll see that we have a one move large trap plus a triangle on white. So I can just do an R prime here, and I have that. So now I see this edge, so I'm going to orient it like this to prepare to pair it up with this. So I'm going to do a wide R U prime. But then before I pair it up, I'm going to do the same thing where I move this corner up to make it really nice to insert. So I'll do a wide R U wide R prime. So this is already ready. So now I can just do R wide prime R, or kind of like a left slice move to make this pair. Then it's just a U R prime to finish off the center, and then to orient wide R U prime wide R. So now we have last two centers here, and I know red is going to go here and gray is going to go here. So a nice way you can solve this case is just do a U to preserve this small trap for a second, and then we're going to pair it up with this edge by doing wide R U, and then we're going to insert this edge with we're going to move the slot down with the left slice like this, or you can think of it like a wide R prime R. Then we're going to do a U prime, then an R prime, and that's going to make this large trap, and it's going to give us a decent small trap case. So here to solve the small trap, we can do U prime, and then wide R. Instead of doing a U and inserting it next to where it needs to go, like I said before when we had the solve small trap case, that's not what we want. Instead, we're going to do what's kind of counterintuitive and move it opposite of where it needs to go, then do a U, and then move this layer back up with an R, and then it's going to make this pair, and it's also going to orient this corner such that we have a 3-move insert. So now we can do a U prime and just do a 3-move insert with R prime, U prime, R. And then to orient this gray center, it's just going to be a U and then wide R prime, and then to orient this red center, it's going to be another U move. And always when you're about to orient your last center, make sure to keep an eye out for your last bottom triple. In this case, I see it over here, so I don't have to worry about it. So I can just do a U, and I saw this purple triangle, and this purple's already on bottom, so I can just pair this up nicely like this. And now I just see this blue triangle, so I can pair this up with a nice hedge, and I can finish the formation with R prime, and then to insert into its slot, we're gonna orient this, and the bottom layer is going to be already fixed, which is nice. So then we can just insert it with our classic insert like that, and we don't have to worry about orienting the bottom, so we can just go straight into last three triples. So this is an interesting case. The best way I know how to solve this case is just to do kind of like a similar thing that I did. I think it was in Solve 2 where I did standard pair formation. This is just kind of like with OPF. So here we don't have many easy standard pairs, and if we did a U prime, we'd have these two weird offset pairs. So instead what we're going to do is we are going to make a pair with this on this triangle, and we're going to make this pair last. So how we're going to do that is we're going to do a U prime, and then we're going to do a hedge to make this pair, and then that'll separate this pair and make it a lot easier to pair. So we'll do a hedge here, U prime, so now we have this pair, and then this is facing up and this is over here, so we don't have one flip, and you won't get one flip with this case. And this is another spot where it's really good to know how sledges and hedges affect the cube and how you can avoid two flip. So here, to avoid two flip, you can do a sledge, because if you do a hedge, then it's this triangle is going to go here like that, and we don't want that. So instead we can do a sledge, and that's going to move the triangle to the back like this. And now we can do a U to make this last pair, and now we just have TCP, and we finally have one of the other TCPs. So now this is not going to be the four mover, and it's not going to be the other one, because this is the twisted in place case. You can see these corners are twisted in place. And this is going to be the righty sledge version. So for the righty sledge version, the alg just goes like this. You move the, like we normally want to do a sledge with, this triangle over where it needs to go like this. And it goes R, D prime, hold on, I can't do this slow, R, D prime, R, U, R prime, D, R prime, U prime, and then just a U, AUF. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said before, if you want some white-only example solves in the future, please let me know. Also, if there was anything in these solves that was inefficient or you thought I could have solved better, please let me know. I'm hoping to spread my FTO knowledge, but also increase it if I did something bad. So yeah, hope to hear from you guys in the comments, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Bye.